again with the new project work that is going to be presented by Abir and Safa. You're welcome, and we thank you very much for the presentation you are going to give. I know when you are preparing this project work, you are under pressure, but you feel when you see yourself on a CD, it's a kind of self-observation, which is good for you and for teachers. It's when you see yourself that you feel that it was a great achievement and it was something worth doing. So we thank you very much. Okay, and are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
Well, dear teacher, dear friends, today me and Abir are pleased to present our expose about racism as a very dangerous and spread phenomenon. So, what is racism? What are its causes? And what should we do to fight it?
Firstly, let us give you the expose plan. Firstly, we start with a definition of racism. After that, we move to racism throughout history. After that, we will talk about some racism causes, and we will finish with a conclusion. What is racism? Racism is the belief that a particular race is superior or inferior to another, that a person's social and moral traits are predetermined by his or her inborn biological characteristics. Racial separatism is the belief most of the time based on racism that different races should remain apart from one another.
Racism has existed throughout history. It may be defined by the hatred between two people, or by the thinking that another person is less than human because of skin color, because of her language, her customs, her culture, her place of birth, or any factor that supposedly reveals the basic nature of that person. It influenced wars, slavery, the formation of nations, and of course, legal codes.
History, racism throughout history. During the past 500 and 700 years, racism on the part of Western powers toward non-Westerners has had a far more impact on history than any other form of racism. The most notorious example of racism in the West has been slavery, and particularly the enslavement of Africans in the New World. This enslavement was accomplished because of the racist belief that black Africans were less fully human than the white Europeans and their descendants. This belief was not automatic. That these Africans were not originally considered inferior. When Portuguese sailors first explored Africa in the 15th and 16th century, they claimed upon empires and cities as advanced as their own, and they considered Africans to be serious rivals. Over time, though, as African civilizations failed to match the technological advances of Europe, and the major European power began to plunder the continent and forcibly remove its inhabitants to work as slave laborers across the Atlantic.
Well, we would point out that one important feature of racism, especially toward blacks and immigrant groups, is clear in attitudes regarding slaves and slavery in general way. Jews, for instance, are seen by anti-Semitism or anti-Jewish as subhuman, but also as superhuman. The Weichenkanen, that is to say, very smart, skilled, and powerful, while blacks are seen by some races as merely subhuman. If the focus of anti-Semitism or anti-Jewish is evil, the focus of some races toward blacks especially is inferiority. In fact, those people have been considered sometimes to lack even the ability to be evil. In the middle half of the 19th century, growing immigration was seen by some white Westerners as a real threat to their controlled culture. So that's why some scientists and philosophers from Western divided or tried to invent racial science to prove the white supremacy. We will move to the causes.
We should emphasize that racism ideology is based on a false understanding of race. In fact, contemporary scientists are not agreed whether is race is a valid way to classify people. What may seem to be significant racial differences to some people, skin color, hair, facial shape. In fact, genetic differences within one race is considered greater than those between races. And brief, misunderstanding and underestimating people are the main causes of racism.
Well, either in America, Europe, Africa, or any place in the world, racism must be fought by anyone, since it stands so many barriers between people, their well-being, and the welfare of their country as well. At the end, I want to set forth a poem that I wrote about racism, and that I intituled "One Day Racism Was Born." Religion, race, and color, fake reasons pushing races to make others suffer. We all wonder why do some people love hate us this much. We all wonder why do they enjoy others' soreness that much. Why can't they put up with a different person or a different man? They just forget that he is also a human. Perhaps they think that with their faulty power, they will make the world better. Racism never was the way to express and say that I'm here and I only deserve to exist. Being a nasty racist will never extinguish those who he thinks are inferior. He may take himself for superior, but in that way, he will certainly lose the peace, the love, and the happiness which live wonderfully together in a tolerant heart. He needs to know that tolerance is the best shelter. It's simply the trunk of the light that offers to us a beautiful sight within the darkness of the night.
And let me just tell you, it's perfect. And your poem is so beautiful that I am going to learn it by heart. All right? Good. So on behalf of you again, we thank them for the efforts they have done. Again, as I told you, you are under pressure. It's not easy. Because you want it to be well done. Yeah? Within yourself, you want it to be well done. I said to you, all the projects work you have done so far are really good. Congratulations for everyone. Yes. If you have any questions concerning this,
yes, we are all ears.
They are all ears.
Thank you, Safa and Nader. I really, really like it, especially the poem. It was wonderful. I feel it from my heart, and thank you. I have nothing to say.
Me too. I just want to say congratulations. It was very successful and it was excellent. Thank you.
Do you have any question, any comments?
Do you want to ask about explanation?
It still exists, doesn't it?
Yes.
So, in which continent do you think people feel it more? In which continent?
Europe, I guess.
So,
America.
Because in Europe, it's a melting pot all know. So there are a lot of races there, and when there are differences, we always say that there are racism, and people don't accept another one that is different from our sex.
There was a yes question. Yeah. You speak up.
Because of racism, should blacks, for example, leave the country or stay and solve the human problem of racism through our understanding?
We didn't hear you well.
Yeah, could you?
Could you speak up, please?
Could you speak up?
Because of racism, should blacks leave the country or stay and solve the human problem of
Shouldn't
racism?
blacks leave?
Leave the country
Leave the country, okay?
or stay and solve the human problem of racism.
All right.
Through our understanding.
Did you get the point? Right. They say because of racism that now in USA, do you think black people should leave the country or they should stay there and solve all human problems?
I don't think so. I think black people who are living in Africa should stay there and struggle for their rights, to get their own rights, and to get their own dignity, to have the power to stay there and fight for their own rights.
We point out that blacks from Africa used to work there as laborers. So they have been involved in the construction of that country. So they deserve to have any rights that any other American has, because maybe more, because they are the real how to say that, the maker of that country.
All right. I may say again that perhaps it's not, you haven't seen that film, but your parents certainly saw it. It was in Moroccan TV in the past. That's called Roots. It's a really very good film called Akinte. Okay, the name, it means to show you the time when black Africans, were taken to USA. All right, it's really a good film. If ever you can get it and see it, it shows you how these black Africans were taken and all the difficulties they had in America. Roots name. Yes, someone else.
I just want to congratulate you, both of you. I think this was very good. I like it. And I thank you for all the efforts you have done to do. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Now I think perhaps the black don't feel this inferiority or this inequality like before. Now this gender is especially between religions. Muslims are always estimated like inferior than other religions. So I just want to ask you, how do you think we must improve ourselves? How we must change the thought of the words about us?
Well, I squeezed the answer of that question under the lines of my own. When I talked about someone who hates others, someone who enjoy others' soreness, that's to say that we have to like each other, to respect each other, and to give to everyone the importance he deserves as a human, because we are all humans. Religion or race or color or any factor shouldn't really belittle this person. And we should be tolerant. We should accept everyone. And I guess in that way we will fight racism.
Okay.
you focus more on white people like racist ones. You don't think that black people are racist too? Can be racist?
Somehow, I don't know, maybe the white people, their ideas will make them became that way. Because they make them feel that they are stranger and inferior, and that way they feel that they became all the time to be racist.
I guess that white people are the first racists in the world. You know, firstly, whites are those people who enrooted racism in those people, because blacks are firstly considered as racist, as morally degraded. I'm talking in the past. Now things are changing, of course, and you know, racism is a very huge subject, and talking for hours and hours about it will not be enough to give every level of that subject. So I know it's not really we didn't talk about everything in racism. We didn't talk about maybe religion racism. We just point out at it when we talked about Jews. There is racism toward Muslims, racism toward whites. Yes, it's good, but the most flagrant one is black. Is racism toward blacks.
Yes.
What's the difference between racism and racialism? Racism and racialism.
Racism. Well, we were talking today about racism. Maybe you will do an expose about and I know that Paris Ohato is very good.
He likes terminology.
Yes. So, Paris, you will do maybe an expose about that.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I've got a question. Not a question, but what the question Manan raises and what you were saying brings back to my memory something about black Americans. Do you know some black Americans who were leaders in the past in USA who had fought, who had fought for liberty, freedom of black people? If I just say to you, I have a dream, who said it? Mr. I have a dream, famous speech. Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King. Famous personality, black personality, who has done all his best, to solve this problem of racism. Now, my question to you, there's something new in America. Isn't there?
President.
Yes. A black, now it's a black American who is president of USA. Don't you think that it's an achievement for black Americans?
Yes. Things are improving, as I just said. Things are improving, and with human rights, and we see that there are a lot of changes, either in America or in Europe, or even in Africa, in all the world in a general way. I guess that people are starting to get the real meaning of tolerance in a certain way.
Okay. Everybody? So, yes. So, we congratulate you again and thank you very much. question before going to. He raised a question concerning racism in Morocco.
Yeah. Make us an example.
Well,
Yes, racial. We don't have color racism in Morocco, but we have racial. I'll give you an example. For instance, I don't know, I'll say it in Arabic. For instance, I'm not, or maybe sometimes they can talk Arabic. I'll give you an example. But if there is someone who talks Arabic, and we know that we shouldn't talk in a language when we are with others that they don't understand. But even they know that they talk Berber,
yes.
and it's a little example of racism.
It's not a problem of language teacher. It's not a problem of language, not because Amazigh people don't speak Arabic or something, but it's that Amazigh people think that they were first at Morocco. So they think that Arabian people
Are strangers.
Colonized?
Yes.
Colonized?
That's why they don't like
Problem of colonization?
Yes, they think that they were first at Morocco. There's also another racism between, for example, stereotypes between people in Utah and people in Casablanca or Rabat or Paris. It's just, teacher, after the next time about that.
Yes. And then?
I don't think that it's a racist. It's example. I think it's just something related to culture, to some stereotypes.
Yeah.
And I want to ask some question. Some people say that some Muslim people say that they hate Jewish people. Do you think it's a kind of racism?
Look, here we are not talking about it. We see what's Jews, and I'm not talking about just the religion, but I'm talking about Israel in a general way. I guess that when they talk about Jews, they emphasize or they want to say Israel because they see what is going on in Gaza and Palestine, how they hurt people, how they make them suffer. So I guess that it's not a racism because they are really making the others suffer. So we will not see that we will not be tolerant with that.
But there are many people who suffers from not Jewish people, from other people.
Yes, we
So-
all hate them.
We all hate
Not only Israel. And I'm not talking about Jews because there are a lot of Moroccans who are Jews. Not a religion. I'm not talking about religion, but about Israel in a certain.
Yes.
I see he doesn't talk about religion and racism.
Shia.
Like in Islam, she doesn't talk about religion and racism. Like Islamophobia.
I cannot answer to your question.
Do you have an opinion about it?
He doesn't talk.
Yeah. I just answered to your
Just to mention something, she cannot cover all the forms of racism. I think it's yes, it's good to choose the main idea, and that was perfect. We cannot say all.
It's so big. It's yes. If you don't mind, I come back again to say here. I come back to what he said. I'm going to put him in an embarrassing situation. Do you want it? Yes. Good. Said. Inshallah, one day you finish your studies, then you in Morocco, then you go to France to study in France. No. You stay in Morocco. Okay? He wants to avoid, No problem. You stay in Morocco. and it happened to you that you have a good job, then you are thinking of getting married. Okay? It's nature, it's human beings. Great. But the problem is that because you are a human being, you fell in love with a black girl. Okay, wait, I'm coming. And you phone your dad and mom. Dad, mom, I want to get married. Oh, good news. We're very happy. Mom and dad, the girl is black. There's no problem. Black. Is it no problem for you
And
or for your parents?
and for them.
Really?
Yeah.
We want you to tell the truth. Your parents won't say no.
No.
Okay, good.
Teacher,
They don't care.
I'm just putting you in this situation. I'm waiting for your comments.
I want to say that there is something which is more embarrassing than that, especially when it's between a religion and Muslim woman and, for example, Jewish.
Jewish or Christian, yeah.
I think it's something which is very, very difficult. And for men, not. It's not difficult. We can't marry with a girl, no.
Thank you.
I think it's something else. We cannot call the marriage between a Muslim woman and the man from other religion a marriage. We cannot call that. We cannot call it like that. It's not allowed to.
I know. But I'm talking about feelings. I'm not talking about the
I want to say that as a Muslim woman, I have some codes or some barriers that I can't go through. Yes. So in our religion, a Muslim woman is not allowed to get married with a non-Muslim man. But a Muslim man can get married with.
It's the law. It's the law, but sometimes we can't control ourselves. We have feelings too. We are humans, and if it happens, how can we deal with it?
Yes.
Something which is very, very difficult.
You see, I raised the question to which the answer is really difficult.
Teacher,
Right.
if you are talking about feelings, maybe this girl or this woman can make him become a Muslim. Then she can marry him.
Okay.
We are human. We have to know how to control our emotions. We have to think first and to feel after.
Good. Thinking first,
Yeah.
feeling after. Good. Thinking before acting.
But yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Sure, it's easy if we just appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you.
What's the root of racism? Is that true? Racism can make violence.
I didn't get your point. What do you mean, Paris? Stop.
May I if you didn't get response, I may say it in words. Well, simply want to say